In the beginning, there was the rocky coast. Craggy with scrub pine and wild blueberries, where whales swam offshore and seals dove from the rocks. Shorebirds nested and fed their young on a diet of mussels and clams. Moose grazed in the marshes, and lobsters grew fat in the cold water. Then ships came and found shelter in the many coves, harbors, and inlets along the jutting peninsulas, where smugglers hid among the maze of islands, and settlers built homes and formed colonies and defended their claims, and built mighty ships of timber from the forested hills. Then those great ships sailed out to trade across the oceans, and their captains grew wealthy and built handsome mansions, endowing libraries and other civic institutions in the towns back home. While from the villages and coves at the peninsula ends, fishermen set out each day in the morning fog to pull the teeming lobsters from the ocean floor to feed their families, and then some. And on the rocky points, they built lighthouses to guide them safely home. In the winter, the snow fell and the stars burned bright in the night sky. The air was crisp and clear, and people skated on the frozen ponds and cut holes through the ice to fish, and told stories around the fire in the ice shacks and by the wood stove at the general store. With the spring thaw, the lupin bloomed pink and purple along the roadsides, and the sweet maple sap was tapped into buckets and boiled down to syrup in the sugar houses. And in the summer, the beaches were rimmed with banks of rose hips and sweet peas, and the breeze sped sailboats over the waves, and the brightly painted buoys danced in the sun. People dug holes in the sand to bake clams, lobster, and corn. Then artists came and painted the waves and the buoys and the rocky shore. And trains and steamboats traveled up the coast to summer colonies, bringing people from the cities to breathe the fresh salt air and rest on the verandas and lawns overlooking the ocean. When they were rested, they looked for things to do, attending theaters and music festivals, gazebo concerts on the mall, bean suppers, all the things the people had cooked up to entertain themselves. Some worked harder at resting than they did at work, what with hiking and biking and boating. But their children and grandchildren returned each year to family cottages, and when they grew up, some came to stay for good. So now, well, here we are. There's Wi-Fi in the coffee shops in town, but things really haven't changed much. At harvest time, the apples hang heavy and the maple leaves flame red along the roads and riverbanks. And the people gather in their towns and villages to celebrate the rich bounty of their lives, then go home to stack wood against the winter.